This movie feels like a first feature. It's not a first feature, but it sure feels like one. It is ambitious as hell, creating this whole world of this goth club cyberpunk dystopia and a musical to boot, and bringing in all these big name actors like the girl from Spy Kids, the mentor from Buffy, that one guy from Goodfellas, Sarah Brightman, Paris freaking Hilton, all on an $8.5 million budget, less than $14 million in today's money. And yet, the movie has no concept of continuity, or diegesis, or lighting. But those all feel like they're done very intentionally as a stylistic choice, almost like the director was saying, I'm not very good at this part. I'm just going to lean into my own weaknesses and turn that into a stylistic choice. That's what I'm doing. Seriously, there are so many jump cuts in this movie that the lack of continuity creates this feeling that you don't know what's literally happening in universe. You just get this vibe of what's happening in universe and how it feels. On the topic of not knowing what's happening in universe, the diegesis, all of the musical numbers are non-diegetic. Usually I define a musical by the fact that there's a non-diegetic musical number. No, all of the musical numbers are non-diegetic. Usually that just means, oh, the characters are singing, but in universe they're not actually singing, they're just talking, and this is how the filmmakers chose to portray what they're saying and how they feel about it. No, in this movie, almost every single musical number is not happening in universe. The characters are not talking. This is just what they're feeling and what they're thinking. I believe in opera they call that an aria. Because no one can hear the other characters singing. A character will be singing their deepest secrets, and no one else will be able to hear it because in universe, they're not actually talking. They're just feeling and thinking it. Even when the characters are singing back and forth in something that feels like dialogue, what opera would call recitative, it still feels like they're not literally communicating to each other unless they're physically making eye contact. There's a lot of breaking the fourth wall to look directly into the camera and sing directly to the audience. There's even an entire character who is diegetic, but the main character is surprised to learn that she is diegetic, even after going through a wall that he opened. And every single shot, the lighting is overblown. And every single character has this, like, haze around them. Almost this angelic aura, like they left Vaseline on the lens. Seriously, this is what it looks like when I accidentally smudge my thumb over the lens before I hit record. And in a normal movie, doing any of that in a couple of shots might come across as a little weird. Repo the Genetic Opera is not a normal movie. It feels like all of that is an intentional cinematic, stylistic choice to create this world and this tone. On that topic, the CGI is terrible in ways that feel like a stylistic choice, like they wanted the CGI to look like garbage, but they also made incredible practical effects. And it feels very much like a passion project, because it is. The creators were working on this musical for 6 years before the movie came out. Like, they started working on this musical before the director started working in the film industry. The writers both play main characters, which is a very first feature thing to do. And since the director is just working with his buddies from his previous movies, no, seriously, the producers, the production designer, the editor, everyone, it feels like a guy who had been working in the film industry for a couple of years, both as a crew member on other people's projects and making a bunch of short films along the way, and this was his first big one where he got to go nuts and do whatever he wanted. It feels like the sort of thing that was made off of a grassroots Kickstarter campaign. And all of these actors, it feels like they got these big names because, oh my gosh, this guy is really passionate and this thing is weird. Very first feature behavior. And it feels like they ran out of budget, because there's a solid 5 to 10 minutes of the movie where they just intersperse it with moving comic book panels. I'm not kidding. Narration boxes and everything to give all the lore dumps to catch you up on everything you need to know, which is also what happened when they ran out of budget on Tank Girl. It's even an independent film funded through a proof of concept short. That is a very first feature thing to do. Now, none of these are insults. Every single thing I've mentioned in this video is something I love about this movie. In fact, if I got to make a movie that did everything I talked about in this video, I would be proud of that fact. And I would end my career happy. It's just hilarious to me that the minute Darren Lynn Bousman was freed from the franchise he hated, he basically went and acted like he'd never made a movie before. Also, why did none of y'all tell me how much this thing frickin' slaps? No wonder it became an instant cult classic. Follow for more film talk.